of course, when we're working with exponents today, I don't recall how much we've worked with this in the past, but if you see something like, let's use 2 to the third power, we call that. It's an exponent right here and a base. 2 to the third does not mean 6. That's 2 times 3. And to remember that, if you see this, why wouldn't you just show it as 2 times 3? Why would they be doing this? They don't. They don't do that. Instead, 2 to the third means I'm going to use 2 as a factor 1, 2, 3 times. Same number, same base. The base is used this many times. 1, 2, third power. So that's 8. 2 to the third is 8. A lot of times students will put 6. If you've got 4 to the second power, 4 squared is 16 because 4 uses a factor 1, 2 times, right? 16. So we call this the exponent, or we can say it to the second power. That's the power that the 4 is to. And it tells you how many times to use the factor. We can show prime factorization with exponents because really a lot of times there's a lot of repetitive work with prime factorization. Like if we take 64 and we prime factorize, right, we use our factor tree, we could do 4 and 16, which means you got a 2, a 2, a 4, which means 4 more 2s. So many 2s. So if it says show the prime factorization of 64 using exponents, you count up, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2s as a factor. That means 2 used 6 times, or 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which means 64, right? I just showed the prime factorization, its base parts, except with exponents. If we simplify 100 minus 10 squared, simplify just means if they give you this, okay, find out what this is, because remember PEMDAS, before we subtract, we need to do exponents, then subtract. So that means do the 10 squared. 10 uses a power twice. 10 squared is 1, 2 zeros, 100, right? So minus 100, which would be 0. Let's see if we got it right. Yes, we did. Let's review writing decimal numbers as fractions. The number of places after the decimal point indicates the denominator of the decimal fraction, 10 or 100 or 1,000, whatever. The digits to the right of the decimal point make up the numerator. Write 5/10 as a common fraction. If you say your decimals correctly, where you say 5/10, because that's the tenths place, then you just write what you say, right? And then reduce. It's pretty easy. 3 and 75 hundredths. 3 and 75, this is the hundredths place. So you just go 3, 75 hundredths. Otherwise, what's true is, how many zeros do you have under the in the denominator down here? It's how many places there were after the decimal they just told us. So there's 1, 2 places shown. So I need 2 zeros in my denominator and just put this in the numerator. Everything to the right of the decimal is fraction. Everything to the left is whole number, right? So 3 and 75 hundredths, or 3.75, is a mixed number. We just don't see it or think of it that way always as a decimal. Why don't you do all these practice? They should go fairly quickly for you.